You open your phone, type a thought, and half the internet that answers you may not be human. In 2024, bots made up roughly 51% of web traffic. That means humans were technically the minority. But the disturbing part is not that bots exist. It is that the internet may still look alive because machines learned how to fake breathing. Remember that 51% number? It comes back in the worst possible way. Because if the internet died, you would expect silence. No posts, no comments, no arguments under a video about soup. But what if death online looks like noise? What if the corpse keeps posting? The idea has a name: dead internet theory. It sounds like a late-night conspiracy from a dusty forum, because that is partly what it was. It appeared on fringe boards in the late 2010s. One early documented version came from Wizard Chan. Then a 2021 post by a user called Illuminati Pirate helped spread it wider. The claim was simple and insane. Most of the internet was no longer human. Bots, algorithms, and fake engagement had replaced real conversation. At first, that sounds ridiculous. You are online. Your friends are online. Your group chat is painfully real. Your aunt is still sharing blurry medical advice on Facebook. So the obvious answer is no. The internet cannot be dead. There are 5.5 billion humans online. That is about 68% of the planet. Internet use was still growing in 2024. Global internet traffic grew around 17.2% that year. A new website appears roughly every 3 seconds. That is one new little digital storefront, diary, scam, or grave every breath. So case closed, right? Wait, here's the problem with that. A city can be crowded and still feel abandoned. Imagine walking through Times Square at midnight. Every billboard screams, every speaker plays ads, every screen shows a smiling face. But when you touch someone on the shoulder, it is cardboard. That is the modern web problem. Activity is not the same as life. Traffic is not the same as humans. And content is not the same as thought. The first crack is traffic. That 51% number means more web activity came from automated systems than from humans. Not all bots are evil. Some check if websites work. Some index pages for search engines. Some help services run smoothly. A bot can be a janitor. But in the same report, bad bots alone made up about 37% of web traffic. That is not a janitor. That is a guy trying every door handle on your street. Bad bots scrape data, they spam forms, they steal inventory, they test stolen passwords. They imitate users so well that websites must guess if you are meat. That little checkbox asking if you are human is not a joke, it is a border checkpoint. And sometimes you are the suspicious one. But traffic is only layer 1. Layer 2 is creepier. The web is full of pages that do not feel written. They feel extruded, like toothpaste squeezed into the shape of an article. In 2024, Google directly targeted scaled content abuse. That means sites mass-producing pages mainly to manipulate search rankings. Many used AI-generated text with little or no value. Some websites were hit with pure spam manual actions. They had pumped out huge piles of copycat articles without real human oversight. Other sites used expired domains. Imagine an old charity website dying quietly. Then someone buys the corpse. Suddenly it sells affiliate product reviews written by machines. That is not a website. That is digital taxidermy. Google also targeted doorway pages. These are hundreds of near-identical pages for tiny search variations. Each one exists to catch you like a net. You search a question, a page appears. It looks helpful. Then you read 5 paragraphs and realize nothing is being said. The page answered the shape of your question, not the question. Hold that feeling. You have probably felt it. You search for a simple answer. You get a 3,000-word article with 11 headings. The first heading repeats your question. The second defines every word in the question. The third tells you history you did not ask for. Then the answer hides near the bottom like a hostage. That is not an accident. That is search engine bait. Now, layer 3 is where the theory starts sounding less stupid. Social media adds fake humans to fake content. During some 2024 measurements around major events, X had about 31.8% of 759,000 measured visits flagged as fake. Broader assessments suggested bot presence on X could approach 3/4 during peak periods. Facebook looked much cleaner in one analysis. Just over 2% of 90 million visits were classified as bots. TikTok was also lower, around 2.56% of more than 40 million monitored visits. So it is not one giant robot ocean everywhere. It is patchy. Some platforms are swamps, some are ponds, some are pools with something moving underneath. But the key is not the average. The key is your feed. You do not experience the internet as a map. You experience it as a tunnel. The algorithm chooses the walls. If enough bots shout inside that tunnel, their echoes can feel like public opinion. One fake account is obvious. 1,000 fake accounts are weather. They create pressure. They make bad ideas look popular. They make boring products look beloved. They make a lonely post look like a movement. And now the machines do not just click. They talk. Large language models can produce endless comments. They can agree, complain, flirt, review, argue, and apologize. They can make the same empty sentence wear 1,000 different shirts. This is why Shrimp Jesus matters. Remember that phrase. AI images of bizarre religious seafood figures spread across social platforms. Some gathered tens of thousands of likes. Were all those likes fake? No, that is the uncomfortable part. Some humans liked them too. Not because the images were meaningful, because the feed had trained everyone to react first and think later. So the real horror is not bots replacing humans, it is bots teaching humans to behave more like bots. Click, react, repeat. Now we can answer the question. Did the internet already die without anyone noticing? No, not literally. The internet is not dead. It has billions of living humans inside it. You are one of them. Your messages, searches, jokes, and late-night spirals are real. But the default internet experience is no longer purely human. It is a synthetic layer wrapped around human life. Bots generate traffic. AI generates pages. Algorithms rank emotion. Fake accounts manufacture crowds. Search engines fight spam farms. And you meet all of it through a tiny glowing rectangle that cannot tell you who is breathing. So the better answer is this. The internet did not die. It got haunted. The old internet was messy because humans were messy. Forums had ugly layouts. Blogs had weird fonts. Comments had typos with personality. A page felt like someone built a treehouse and forgot to remove the hammer. Now much of the web feels smooth, too smooth, like a hotel room where every object has been bolted down. That is what dead internet theory really noticed. Not a single secret switch, not a day when humans vanished. It noticed a texture change. The web stopped feeling handmade. And that brings back the new website every 3 seconds. Roughly 252,000 sites are created each day. But the web has about 1.2 billion sites total. Only about 16% are actively maintained. So the internet is also a graveyard. Most sites are abandoned rooms, old portfolios, dead forums, parked domains, forgotten blogs, pages waiting for a visitor who will never come. Then, around those ruins, machines build new rooms faster than humans can furnish them. That is the strangest part nobody talks about. The internet is becoming a place where authenticity is expensive. To prove you are human, you solve puzzles. To prove a photo is real, you need context. To prove a review is genuine, you read 10 more reviews. To prove a voice is not cloned, you need a second channel. Trust used to be the water. Now trust is the product. And once trust becomes scarce, everyone starts acting paranoid. You see a viral post and ask who benefits. You see a comment and wonder if it was bought. You see a perfect article and suspect nobody wrote it. You see a crowd and look for strings. That changes you. Even when something is human, you may not feel it. A real stranger can write a real sentence from a real bedroom. But if it sounds too polished, your brain flinches. The ghost does not need to replace everyone. It only needs to make you doubt everyone. That is how a social place dies while staying crowded. Not by losing voices, by losing the ability to believe voices belong to bodies. Still, there is one hopeful clue. The dead internet feels dead because you remember what alive feels like. You can still feel it in small places. A niche Discord, a chaotic group chat, a comment that is too specific to fake, a typo that accidentally becomes funnier than the joke, a person explaining something badly but honestly. The living internet has fingerprints. The synthetic internet has polish. So when the web feels wrong, that feeling is data. Your unease is not proof of a conspiracy, but it is proof that something changed. The internet did not end with a bang. It learned to imitate applause. And that connects to something even stranger. Why do fake humans sometimes feel more convincing than real ones? If this scratched the right part of your brain, subscribe to MindItch, a new question every single day.